Hello everyone! Journey to Un'Goro is fast approaching and I want to return one more time to the Druid class. I already discussed Druid in some previous videos, including some discussion of Bittertide Hydra, probably one of the defining cards for aggression in Journey to Un'Goro expansion. But I still wanted to take one more look at Druid and see whether there would be a way to build a Druid list that's very aggressive, an Aggro Druid list with Bittertide Hydra as the centerpiece instead of tokens. So this is a journey into exploring this type of Druid. To recap, we can take a little bit of a look at Bittertide Hydra itself. It's a 5-mana 8/8 beast with a downside. Whenever this minion takes damage, deal 3 damage to your hero. It's reminiscent of Fel Reaver, which was a 5-mana 8/8 mech that discarded cards from the top of your deck whenever your opponent played cards. But it comes with a different downside. The downside of the Hydra can sometimes be worse than the Fel Reaver, and discarding cards from your deck doesn't matter at all as long as you don't run out, but taking that damage amplified when it goes to Bittertide Hydra might really hurt you. However, in general it's unlikely for the Bittertide Hydra to take more than 2 or 3 hits before it dies, so you don't take too much damage, unless the opponent happens to hit it with a volcano, of course. But I don't think that's very likely to happen. And when you think about a home for Bittertide Hydra, Druid seems like the natural fit, because Druid has Innervate, the biggest cheat card in all of Hearthstone. With a single Innervate you can play Bittertide Hydra on 3. If you happen to have 2 Innervates and Bittertide Hydra, you can play it on 1. Now that's some power to throw on the board. But does Druid have what it takes to support this deck? You don't have just 2 cards in the deck, you know. So what else does it take? And Aggro Druid is losing a ton in the rotation. It's losing Living Roots, it's losing Sir Finley Murgleton and the ability to switch hero powers. It's losing by far the best 2-drop, Druid of the Saber, stealthing that Kion 2, getting that Mark of Yashurash on it. That was so huge. It was an immensely good card, and now Druid is losing that one into the wild. It's losing Dionysus Aspirant, which was sometimes used to ramp up and also give a minion. Aggro Druid doesn't want to run Wild Growth. And it's losing Argent Horse Rider, it's losing Mounted Raptor. Like all of the 1 to 3 plays, almost all of what it wanted to play from 1 to 3 is gone. Is this a position that's even possible to recover from? Add to this as Druid is actually not getting anything for these slots, or much of anything for these slots in the expansion, and it's looking pretty grim. But we could look into some things that we could do about this. So lately some people have been playing with pirates in Druid. I mean, sounds nonsensical, right? Actually playing Bloodsail Raider, a card that is designed to work in synergy with weapons, but you're playing that in a class that doesn't even have weapons, so it's a 2-mana 2/3. But that is the power of patches. Because with patches you're able to generate multiple minions in the early game. Even the 2/3 stat line is not that terrible, especially if you combine it with some buffs, or if you want to play a Subsea Captain to buff these pirates. That kind of pirate package can help Druid overcome the early game losses that it's suffering now. It will still need more than that though. The pirates can help, but what else do you have except pirates? Well, you can run beasts. You're losing the early game beasts except for the Enchanted Raven, but you could have stuff like Jungle Panther, Shellshifter's a new card, a 4-drop. You could have Strangleton Tiger still, Druid of the Claw, maybe Menagerie Warden. And that kind of stuff could help you. You have access to a bunch of stealthed beasts, which can then be targets for Mark of Yashurash, or they can be targets for Menagerie Warden. So if you can survive the early game with those pirates, then going into the mid game with the beasts might be an option. Another option would be to go for the popular Murloc package, the water package if you will. The water package is running Finja, the Flying Star, and his 4 friends. 2 copies of each, the Blue Jill Warrior and the Murloc War Leader. So the idea is that Finja hits something, kills it, it pulls 2 more Murlocs, there's probably even a War Leader, Charger, they get buffed, they deal even more damage. And this can get downright nasty in Druid, because one of the new cards in Journey to Ungoro is Gentle Megasaur, a 4-mana 5/4 beast with a battle cry to adapt your Murlocs. You get to choose once and it applies the same adaptation to all the Murlocs you have on the board. But let's say you innervate Finja on 3. You attack with Finja, you kill a minion, then on 4 it pulls a couple of Murlocs and you drop the Gentle Megasaur on 4. Now talk about a big swing. These kinds of plays might seem a little bit gimmicky. Okay, so I want to innervate Bittertide Hydra, I want to innervate Finja, I want to innervate some pirates and buffs. So innervate is really a key card here. But when it comes to the other options, if you stack up enough of these combinations into a deck, you might actually find that you're going to get some of these off surprisingly often. I have built 2 alternative Aggro Druid lists based on these packages. Both of the lists are based on the Pirate package, and this first one is a Pirate and Beast package list. So you try to go with the Pirate package to have that early pressure. Of course, the Bittertide Hydra is always an option, and then when you reach the mid game you have all of these quite powerful beasts, many of them stealth, and that Menagerie Warden to combo with them. So that kind of aggro set. And the second option is to combine the Pirate package and the Murloc package. So now you're going with Pirates most likely at the start again, then maybe you can pull off Finja. If you happen to get some Pirates and Murlocs on the board even at the same time, you have the potential to have a lot of minions on the board, and then if you're also able to buff them, then that's when this becomes downright scary. I think these 2 options are probably, some kind of combinations of these packages are probably the way to build an Aggro Druid right now. If the meta turns out to be really slow, then you might even ditch the entire Pirate package. You could go with a Beast and Murloc package. Or if the meta turns out to be full of pirates alone, then maybe you don't want to be the pirate, maybe you're going to go with Golakka crawlers and punish those pirates. So there are quite a bunch of options on what to do, how to deck these, and what packages to choose based on what the meta is going to look like. Overall, Aggro Druid is in a bit of a bind because it's losing so much. On the other hand, Bittertide Hydra just might be enough to breathe some life into this archetype all by itself. Will be interesting to see. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the show, please click the like button and subscribe to my channel for more.